been a couple weeks, but for this week's newsletter, we want to talk about front-loaded squats and application, the benefits and whatnot, opposed to really just the back squat. So say if I were to start with teaching someone, once they have the basic calisthenic of a squat with using no body weight, the first thing I would have them do is perform a goblet squat. Goblet squat can be done with a kettlebell or it can be done with a dumbbell. And the purpose behind that is understanding how to have a load and keeping your torso upright. So what I mean by that is, if the first thing I do is put a load on your back, you'll compensate and you'll turn into a hip hinge right off the back. But if to kind of enhance or to reinforce good mechanics and make sure the squat stays a lower body exercise, predominantly being a knee bend exercise, you want to keep that dumbbell or kettlebell up front, because as they start to descend, if they start to descend too rapidly and they haven't thought about keeping their torso upright, they'll spill out and it'll become uncomfortable. With a back squat, that seems like the only option, or the only smart option, is just to spill over it, and then you'll start to kind of have this two-segmented squat. So if I'm looking at it as far as practicality, say if I take my father, for example, he does not like front squats, but I see as people get off of like couches or get off of benches or whatnot, if they have to do the rock forward, then stand up, they probably have weaker legs, but that's more comparable to a back squat. But if they can get out of a deep couch without having to use their hands or whatnot, probably have stronger legs, which makes it more applicable, especially as you advance in age. So say for the strength and conditioning class, what I brought up towards the end of the week last week, if you feel like you're getting spit out, you're clean, but you're pulling the bar high enough and whatnot, most times it's because you haven't had enough front squat in your diet to be able to have the willingness in your body to accept weight vertically without you wanting to tip forward. So what I use for a couple examples for the guys or the girls too, when's the last time you front squat? It's just like, it's been a little while. That may be the squat, because back squat you get to use more weight because you get to use a separate muscle group and action as far as a hinge, because you can have a high bar squat or a low bar squat, but even still, if something starts to fail, whether it be your leg or something like that, turns into a hinge, you can kind of use your low back and more of your hips to drive your way out of it. Opposed to a front squat, if you're in this position and you start to hinge, that's going to dump forward. Same thing with a goblet, same thing with a landmine squat as well. So the main benefits, say if you were on the functionality day-to-day side of a front-loaded squat, is more likely than not, most times you want your torso to be upright if you're coming out of a chair or whatnot, and you want those quads to be able to load properly. Or if you're looking at it in a more competitive sense of, I'm trying to increase my clean, you need to be able to catch in that front position, and you need to be able to be comfortable in that front position. Your body needs to understand, like, oh, this is what we do regularly anyway. But if you're always in the back position, it's just foreign.